Welcome back to Klinga Games. Today is week 3 of the QBA between the Cincinnati Crowbats and the New York Nihilegos. I'll go over my team at the end just to show what I was running, and I'll do a brief look at my opponent's team. I'm going to try and be briefer this time because I've kind of been going long on those. So I'll go ahead and put the code in, and we'll get straight to the battle. So I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I didn't really like the way my commentary turned out. I got thrown off my game pretty early by some really bad mistakes I made in preparation. So it kind of threw me off my game. My commentary wasn't very good. So instead I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go over, I'm going to try to record audio just watching the video of the match, and gonna try to learn some video editing, and hopefully it'll sound a little bit better than my commentary did. So to start with things, my opponent brought Whimsicott, Terrakion, Krookodile, which they traded Zapdos for at the end of last week, Togekiss, Suicune, and Octillery. I went into this week with a pretty good idea of what I was going to run. I had a really cool tech, not really tech, but idea to stop Terrakion with Inner Focus, Alakazam with a Focus Sash. That way, if they tried to not max to try and knock it out in one hit with Rock Slide to avoid the Follow Me, I could not get flinched and I could not get KO'd. Unfortunately, as you're going to see, game 1, they kind of threw me off that pretty quick, and I kind of abandoned it, which is kind of inexcusable. It was a really good plan, but I just fell off the plan pretty quick because I kind of panicked. So they led Octillery, Whimsicott into game 1. I did not really prep for Octillery at all. I didn't see it as a threat, and you can see that comes back to bite me in this game. Other things come back to bite me more, which you'll see later on, but they lead Octillery, Whimsicott. I lead Alakazam and Didi, which I think I just try to gauge some damage calculations here with Didi to try and see how much I can do with Alakazam with Helping Hand, which we'll see how that turn plays out, and I'll do some commentary on it. Don't want to keep getting ahead of myself with the commentary. So I speculated a bit on what I wanted to do, if I wanted to Follow Me or if I wanted to Helping Hand. They maxed their Octillery turn 1, which really surprised me. Really threw me off my game. I thought for sure I'd get a double KO here with Alakazam. So they max Octillery. Kind of forget how long these animations take when you're not playing the game in real time. And I do not max Helping Hand, Expanding Force, which is what I opted to do turn 1. They light screened, which was very surprising to me. I thought for sure I would see Tailwind instead of light screen. So they Expanding Force, it doesn't do nearly as much as I'd like. It knocks out the Whimsicott, but to the Octillery it doesn't even do half, which really scared me. And then they got me with the max Flutterby, which I was not expecting again. They did a really good job prepping for Alakazam. I didn't expect them to prep for Alakazam. I expected them to prep for my other leads, and I thought I'd surprise them with this, but evidently I was wrong. And then their Octillery is Moody, which is just really frustrating. This game was a lot of RNG. This particular game, game 1. The other game's not really RNG, but this one was very frustrating with RNG. And Moody Octillery did not exactly help with that. So then they brought out Krookodile, which I thought for sure we would get a KO with Dazzling Gleam on it. They had Light Screen up though, which surprised me. So Indeedee was kind of in an awkward spot, so I decided to go for Follow Me. They protect with Krookodile, which is another. A lot of these are just mistakes that I made. They're not really. I should have read into the protect there, and I didn't. Ended up making the game play out in a very bad way, we'll just say that. So they rockfall into my Indeedee, which doesn't knock out Indeedee. Indeedee is actually pretty bulky. But the sand, they do get the sand up that knocks out Alakazam. So they did a really good job prepping for it. They seem to even prep for the Focus Sash, which I thought would be, they wouldn't expect, because I've been running Scarf every week leading up to this game. And then they get their Moody activation again, which increased the speed sharply, which really threw me off my game. I thought for sure I'd be able to bring a Pokemon in and take it out right away, but then they got their speed boost, which kind of threw all my game plans off. And you will soon see the the first major mistake I make this week. First I max guard, which was stupid. I don't know why I max guarded here. I was just thrown off. There's really no reason I should have max guarded. Ludicolo was not threatened at all here. Crocodile and Octillery do not threaten Ludicolo in the slightest. But me not knowing anything about Octillery and how it plays made me very concerned. And I just kind of panicked. Which honestly is a mistake, but it's not what cost me this game. So we'll see how this plays out. So I keep getting ahead of myself on the commentary. So I max my Ludicolo, which isn't a bad move in itself. Max guarding is the bad move. So I got really defensive here. I see what I was doing here. I thought that I would be able to just stall out their turn of max, which I do here. I thought I could be able to stall out their max turns and then sweep with Ludicolo from there. But there were two big things that stopped me from doing that. One of which is Moody. Three big things, I guess, which increased their speed again. So I was very frustrated with that, because that puts their Octillery at +4 speed, just by passively sitting there not doing anything. The next mistake I do is I go for I try to attack the Octillery here, which this isn't really a mistake, this is just them having a good tech here. Which you'll see, I keep getting ahead and having these long pauses, I apologize for that. So I go for Follow Me, which, it's not a bad play per se, but here is why this was a bad move, targeting the Octilleries, because they had Bounce, which I A, did not know Octillery got, and B, obviously did not know their Octillery had. And then they knock out my Indeedee with Crocodile. So what I should have done here is I should have just targeted into the Crocodile with a max Overgrowth or a max Geyser, but I didn't, and I got bit for it. Another big thing that cost me was I assumed that their Octillery was a special attacker. It is not. It's a physical attacker. So I was really not in any danger on that last Dynamax turn. And I just, I don't know, I got psyched out with the Octillery. It really threw me off my game. So really good bring by my opponent. And they also got some very good luck in this game. And also, I just did not prepare the way I wanted to. I had a game plan going in that if I would have prepped it right, we could have probably swept, but I made a gigantic mistake in team preparation that lost me this week. Spoiler alert, I lost this week. So I think you're starting to see what my plan was to use Ludicolo as a Rain Dance Swift Swim Sweeper. But there were two big problems. Is one, I got paralyzed off bounce, which is terrible luck. I'll look up what the percentage on bounce. And then I got paralyzed right away. So I lose my final max turn because of paralysis. so I do not get to set up my grassy terrain. Let me just look up the paralysis chance on bounce, which is 30%, which isn't, it's not horrible odds. It's not like a 5% percentage, but it's still frustrating to get that 30% activated on you turn 1, and then paralysis is I think it's a 1/4 chance to paralyze. So I'll do the math on that real quick. So that was a 0.0. That was a 7% chance to activate. So that was already unfortunate. And then another quick spoiler alert is you'll see that is not even the beginning of my bad luck this game. So this is again a bad mistake by me. I should have realized on bounce that they were a physical attacker, and I wasted a turn Eerie impulsing them. So then I get hit 3 times, its attack is really lower, so then I get paralyzed again. So that's down to a 1.8% chance, or 1.9% chance really. So we're in an incredibly bad luck situation here. Even with my Ludicolo being the wrong nature, which is the mistaken team preparation I was talking about, I prepped this team. I didn't have a whole lot of time to build it outside of didn't have a lot of time to build it in game. I had time to get an ability capsule though, so this was just stupid. But I prepped the team to have Ludicolo be Swift Swim, and I caught one with a mark because I like marks, and I forgot to change its ability. So my Swift Swim sweeper plan was completely out the window before the game even started. So then you'll see that I do get I do hit Thunder here. Thunder is an interesting move because it hits Pokemon in the air, which I don't think my opponent knew. So I got to take Octillery out finally. And then I get paralyzed again for the 3rd turn in a row after bounce paralyzing on the first hit, which we're at a 0.4%. So this is easily the least lucky I've ever been in a Pokemon game. And I was mentioning that I didn't like my commentary when I played the game live. I was very, very tilted by this. You get tilted sometimes in Pokemon. That's just how the game works, unfortunately, sometimes. And I got very, very tilted. This was just not a good game, and then I got paralyzed again. So we ended that game with a 0.01% chance of bad luck. So very, very frustrating first game. Very, very winnable first game. And it just did not, the dice just did not roll my way. And I don't think I've ever been this bad of luck. So we'll just skip to game 2. Okay, so game 2 did a lot better. I keep spoiling things, but we did a lot better in game 2. Obviously, it would be horrendous to get the luck that we did in game 1, but we did sort of get things back on the right track after that first game. But man, even now I'm still tilted. Just rewatching the film, it's very tilting. Just seeing that horrible luck, where Ludicolo, essentially, my max Pokemon did not get a single move off. Not even just in max, in the game, did not get a single move off. Which, part of that is me playing bad turn 1. Going for the max guard when I should have just attacked because I viewed Octillery as a bigger threat than it was. But mostly it was just horrid luck. And it's very tough to come back from that mentally in a best of 3 situation where I'm already tilted because I chose the wrong ability for Ludicolo, which was my main strategy going into the week. So then I had to improvise on the fly while also kind of having to put that luck behind me from game 1. So I'll stop harping on it and we'll get to game 2. I complain about my commentary for the live match and then I make the same commentary for game 2. So we'll move on. I'm sorry, we'll move on. So this time I go with one of my personal favorite strategies all time in Pokemon. I love Registeel. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. And Raikou's also my favorite legendary beast. So it was really cool to get to use them together here. And weakness policy Registeel, I always say it in my videos, weakness policy Registeel is so slept on in a Dynamax format. People really underestimate its ability to deal out damage and also boost up its own defenses to become just an absolute monster. So obviously they max their Terrakion. Obviously I max my Registeel. And they were going for a beat up justified strategy on Terrakion, which is what I went into the week expecting that to be their main strategy. So I got a little bit lucky here that their Whimsicott, wait for it, I keep getting ahead of myself. I keep getting ahead of myself. I forget how long these animations take. Their Whimsicott finally is eject button. So they were going to get off their justified strategy with this. I knew going in that if they went for beat up justified, that I could not stop it with this strategy, which is why it was my fallback if they were running something other than beat up Terrakion. But because they were running eject button Whimsicott, I was able to get them out before they could do beat up on Terrakion and proc my weakness policy in one turn, just on the amazingness that is Raikou. And I didn't actually even need to do Bulldoze because they went max Quake into me, so I could have saved myself a little bit of damage there and just attacked the Whimsicott directly with Raikou. But regardless, we got that Whimsicott out turn 1, and max Steel Spike into Terrakion. We get the Terrakion out turn 1. So game 2 already off to a fantastic start. This turn right here kind of helped me get out of the funk that I was in from game 1. I kind of panicked picking the team for game 2 because I was about to let them get their justified strategy off, and based on the damage into Registeel from an unboosted Terrakion, I would not have lived that. So if they were not running eject button, then I lose. Then I lose 2-0. But because they were running eject button, which is very tempting to run with Whimsicott, but it can be very difficult to pull off because you have to go for that Tailwind turn 1 or you will get hit first, because Whimsicott is pretty fast, but it's not the fastest thing in the world. So then I do get a small amount of luck in my favor here in this next turn, but with their Terrakion gone, this game was in the bag. So, spoiler alert again. So they Tailwind with Whimsicott, which is what they probably should have done turn 1. Then they High Horsepower Raikou, which Raikou is max HP, max speed, so it actually takes that fairly well. And then I Scald Crocodile, which does a little over half, which this told me that they were Assault Vest, because Raikou normally is able to almost knock out Crocodile without Assault Vest on it. Even at max HP, Raikou should do at least 75% damage. But because it didn't do 50, I knew that they were Assault Vest, and they were probably max HP and some bulk as well. And then I commented over it, but then Registeel obviously gets the one-hit KO on Whimsicott, because Whimsicott is not very bulky at all. So then I switch out Raikou into Indeedee just to keep it alive. At this point, the game is already pretty much over, and I'm playing for differential at this point, because the way we record standings in the league is we go by match record, game record, Pokemon differential. So I want to keep as many Pokemon alive in my wins as possible, so I can keep that climb with the leaderboard, which our climb with the leaderboard got halted pretty quick this week. But bring in Indeedee here. Get the Psychic Seed off, which doesn't really play into anything this game. They actually protect their Crocodile, expecting me to go into it with Registeel, which is actually perfect for me because I go into the Suicune with a max guard, which boosts my special defense, so it kind of offsets their Calm Mind boost there. So we get the max Quake into the Suicune, which does big damage because Registeel is amazing. If I haven't let you guys know enough, I love Registeel. So Registeel got boosted up. We found out that Suicune was leftovers, which, good item for Suicune. Suicune's a very bulky Pokemon. And then after this, we kind of just play for differential. Expanding Force. Ice Punch. Just to maximize my damage this turn. Neither one of my Pokemon are really in range of KO, so I'm just playing risky here, going all offense, even with Indeedee on the board. So Crocodile goes for Dark Lariat, which thanks to the burn, Indeedee takes like a champ. Suicune goes for the flinch chance, which kind of was their only strategy left. And then I knew this wasn't going to affect Crocodile, obviously, because it's a dark type, but just going for some chip damage onto the Suicune, which it does a pretty good amount, actually. And then Registeel easily takes out Crocodile with Ice Punch. He's at +2. Crocodile is probably built special defensively, so pretty easy KO there. And then after this, we kind of just team up on the Suicune. I switch in Raikou, and I Stomping Tantrum Suicune. I knew they weren't going to target into the Indeedee, so I felt comfortable bringing in Raikou, who has an Assault Vest, so it will not take very much special damage. They go Scald into Registeel and get some decent damage off, but we're +1 special defense, so not really threatened by it, per usual. Stomping Tantrum just misses the KO, but we have Raikou on the field, so their Tailwind peters out. Raikou is faster than Suicune now, and we can just play defensively. I switched out Registeel just in case something crazy happened, but Raikou's using 100% accurate move, and Suicune's very, very low on health, so Raikou gets its first KO of Draft League, which I'm hoping will not be the last one. I really like Raikou, and I really want to make it work. So, Game 2, we win. And we will go ahead and jump to Game 3. Alright, so Game 3. This is the game that wasn't so much luck, it was just me playing horrible. But I led Ludicolo with Indeedee, with Alakazam and Registeel in the back, eventually. Yeah, with Registeel in the back. My thought process here was that Indeedee could take hits while Ludicolo set itself up and knocked out the Terrakion. But when I was doing my damage calcs, I was assuming Rain, which will be very important in just a second. Okay, yeah, so I led Ludicolo with Indeedee, My big concern with leading the same way I did last time was that I would get eject buttoned, which I was concerned about. So I thought I could lead Ndidi, lead Ludicolo, and I would be able to knock him out turn 1 with a Max Geyser, eventually. Yeah, there we go. And then follow me just to keep the beat up away from Terrakion and to let Ludicolo get the KO that it needed. If I did not get scared away from my Alakazam, Alakazam Ndidi lead, this would have been an easy sweep of this game. Unfortunately, I was still scared of the Octillery, which, especially looking back now, doing post-commentary, was really not a threat in itself. I kept getting worried that Game 1 would repeat itself, but especially going back and watching it, there was a very small chance that Game 1 would repeat itself. So I got really in my head in this game, and a lot of bad things happened. So we'll start with turn 1, stop getting ahead of myself. So follow me with Ndidi, which they do for the beat up, so I called that correctly. Get hit 4 times, which takes forever. I keep forgetting how long these animations take. So that happens as predicted, and then they set up Rockfall, or they hit a Rockfall to set up Sandstorm, which if I was a special Ludicolo would be a bigger deal, but I was a physical Ludicolo. So I thought I would still be able to knock it out. Unfortunately, when I did my calcs in the week leading up, I was calcing it in the rain, which was an easy KO. But because I wasn't in the rain, Terrakion lives. So that sets me up for the second turn, which I make the biggest mistake that cost me the match. So once again, I'm reminded of my inability to prepare, where I see the rain dish set up, and I bring in Alakazam. So here is where I was trying to get a little too clever, and I don't know what I was thinking. So I thought I would be able to bait them into tailwinding and attacking the Alakazam. So I switch out Alakazam into Registeel, but all I had to do was Expanding Force, and it's an easy win. So I made a gigantic mistake here, and it, spoiler alert, cost me the entire game, because they did not Tailwind, and they used Beat Up. So they get their Terrakion up to +4, and that really cost me the game, which again, good on them to make the optimal play. I was just, I don't know what I was thinking here. Exhausted, tilted, and just not well prepared for the game, and just bad play, all around. So they get their Terrakion set up, and they Rockfall into the Ludicolo, and I just watched my hopes of victory disappear. So, looking back on it now, if I was in the correct state of mind, I would have noticed that worst case scenario, leaving Alakazam in, I lose one of my Pokemon and Terrakion goes down. Best case scenario, they don't set up Tailwind, which they didn't do, and I take out both Pokemon. So it was really just a poor play by me. Just inexcusable. Just bad play. And then I make the second mistake where I attack with Registeel. I should have protected here, because I had the same gamble where best case scenario, one of my Pokemon goes down. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, I take both their Pokemon down. Worst case scenario, they knock out one of mine. But I made a big mistake here, and I let him take out Registeel instead of taking him out and protecting Registeel. So I kind of just misread what their priorities were taking out my team. I tried to get too clever with it, and I made just big mistakes over and over again. Yeah, not really much else to say. They got the Max Quake off, which limited Alakazam's damage into Whimsicott. Previously, I had the +1 from Helping Hand to take it out, and it was just bad play. The commentary is not going to get a whole lot better from here because after this, it's kind of just Alakazam facing their whole team. And as much as I love Alakazam, it is not going to beat a Crocodile. That's just how Pokemon works. So, I kind of go into it in my outro, but what I learned is that I need to rest before games and find time in my schedule to prepare my team correctly, because if I'm not prepared, then I just lose. And even then, even with me having poor preparation, not having the correct ability on Ludicolo, the game was still extremely winnable. And I just got in my own head after my horrible game 1. I was just very, very out of my normal mindset for battling, and it showed. It was just a poor performance on my part. Good play by my opponent. They played optimally. They prepared well for my Alakazam. Unfortunately, that's all they had to prepare for with my team preparation. And yeah, that's just how this game went. After I got my only KO of this game on Terrakion with Alakazam, they just take out my Alakazam no problem because they've got a Dark type, a really good Dark type, one of my favorites actually with Crocodile. So even though I lost, it's really cool to see Crocodile do so well. I'm really hoping my opponent doesn't trade it away. He did a really good job with it, and really good game to my opponent, but just really frustrated at myself. So I'll go ahead and go over my team real quick. Ludicolo was the first one, Life Orb. It was supposed to be Swift Swim, but I didn't change that, and it lost me the game. Adamant Nature, max attack, max HP with 1 point in speed. Protect, Waterfall, Grassy Glide, Fire Punch. If I had the right ability on it, it would have outsped Terrakion in the rain by 4 points. But I clearly did not do that, so we lost the game. Next up was Zeus the Thunderous with a Mental Herb. Max defense, max HP with the Prankster ability, with Electro Web, Eerie Impulse, Rain Dance, and Thunder. It was supposed to set up Rain Dance so that Ludicolo could sweep, but Ludicolo had the wrong... I'm harping on it, but Ludicolo had the wrong ability, so we lost the game. Thunder did really good. It hit that Octillery in the air. Managed to get us pretty close in the first game. Next up was Alakazam with a Focus Sash. Max special attack, max speed with a Modest Nature. Inner Focus as the ability. Protect, Expanding Force, Psyshock, and Dazzling Gleam. This was supposed to be built to stop Terrakion, but I got scared away from it when I got scared away from it after that Octillery game, which just a lot of RNG. That first game I lost because of luck. I think if I didn't get paralyzed on Ludicolo, we easily win that game, but I did. I lost about 4 turns, I think, to paralysis. It's just really, really bad luck there, but you gotta learn to play around that. I didn't. And it was a frustrating week, but we'll get better. We'll figure it out. We'll do better next week. Nurse, same as always. Psychic Seed instead of Focus Sash, so I can put a Focus Sash on Alakazam. With max defense, max HP. Psychic Surge is the ability. Protect, Expanding Force, Helping Hand, Follow Me. Same moveset as always. Second to last is Steely, the Registeel. One of my favorite Pokemon. I used it in one of my videos. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the card here. But weakness policy, max HP, max attack with an adamant nature, clear body's the ability, protect, iron head, ice punch, and stomping tantrum. It really should have been well, you could see it was an amazing moveset. The middle game you got to see kind of what I was going for. Registeel just kind of swept through his whole team. That last game, the first game RNG, second game I played well. Last game I played horribly. That was just unexcusable loss. I should have won that game. I don't know why I switched out the Alakazam. I was trying to be cute, trying to win a 3-0 game when I didn't focus on winning the game at all. If I would have stayed in with Alakazam and expanding forced, worst case scenario, Alakazam goes down, we KO the Tracheon in return. Best case scenario, I KO both if they go for beat up, which they did go for beat up. I should have expanding forced. That was just a really stupid mistake on my part. I was trying to be too clever with it, and there's not really much room for that when you're playing against a team that's as well built as my opponent's was. Lastly was Raikou with an Assault Vest, max speed, max HP with 1 point in special attack, Thunderbolt, Scald, Aura Sphere, and Bulldoze, which was a pretty good special attacking set. The Scald onto Crocodile let me know that it was Assault Vest, which was important information to have. And Raikou I thought did really well as well. I only brought it one game, and it did amazing, and I should have been smarter about it. I should have kept it. I should have just led the same way, played the same game set for game 3 as game 2, but I didn't. I tried to be too clever. That comes back to bite you. You just got to play optimally, and I didn't. I went for plays that seemed cool instead of seemed good, and it costed me. So I'll have to refocus, get back to business for week 4, and hopefully we'll still be in a good position as the season progresses, that this loss won't hurt us too much. Alright, and I'll just do a quick rundown of my next opponent's team, just kind of give the main ones I'm worried about, the main strategies that I'm expecting from them, instead of going through each individual Pokemon, because that takes too long. So I'm hoping to keep this to more of like a 2-minute thing instead of a 10-minute thing. So I'll just kind of go over some of the synergies they've got and some of the things I'm looking out for. The main thing to look out for is that they are a very good Sun team. They've got Torkoal, Venusaur, and Charizard, which is just an amazing combo. They got Cottony, who is basically Baby Whimsicott. It is Baby Whimsicott. I don't know why I said basically. It is Baby Whimsicott. It's got Prankster. It does not get Tailwind, fortunately, but it does get Cotton Spore, which lowers the speed of both opponents. So it kind of functions as Tailwind, and it also gets Sunny Day, so they can do a manual Sunny Day setup as well, which isn't. Sun itself isn't too bad to prepare for. That's not too worrying. What is worrying is that they have the Sun, and they also have Weezing-Gigas. Weezing-Gigas, if you didn't know, is a fantastic combination. Regigigas has the best stats in Pokemon. It's not even a contest. But it has a horrible ability called Slow Start, which halves its attack and speed for the first 5 turns it's in battle, which normally is impossible to overcome. You can't get it to stick around for 5 turns no matter what you do. People have been trying for 4 generations now. But what's important is that Weezing has an ability called Neutralizing Gas, which cancels out all effects on the field except its own, and that also includes its partner's Regigigas. So Regigigas gets to use its crazy good stats right away instead of having to wait, and with the Dynamax feature, it can just destroy teams before they're even given a chance to move. So that is going to be something that we're really going to have to worry about. We're really going to have to focus on, because that will stop us in our tracks very, very quickly. So we need to prepare for Sun and Weezing-Gigas, which is going to be a very big, difficult challenge for us this week. They also have Stakataka and Torkoal, so they could run a very good Trick Room mode. And then the last major one to watch out for is Grimmsnarl, which is another Prankster Pokemon. Grimmsnarl is it's just a fantastic sport. It gets Fake Out, It gets both screens. It gets a move called Spirit Break, which lowers the special attack of any Pokemon that it hits, which could be very, very good for him, not for us. So we're going to have to come in really, really well prepared for this week. We can't really rely on abilities. We can't rely on actually running Swift Swim on your stupid Ludicolo. But we'll have to really focus on it, and we'll have to come up with a really solid game plan for Wheezing Gigas that does not leave us completely exposed to the sun, which is a lot easier said than done, especially in a draft league where you have limited resources. So we'll have to see how it plays out, and we'll hopefully have a better game plan going into that week than we did this past week. Thank you for watching. I apologize for the poor quality. I usually try to be better than this. I kind of had to throw that team together in about an afternoon to prepare. I had time to do it, but with everything else going on outside of YouTube, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to build it. And I made a mistake, which was pretty obvious the second I saw Rain Dish activate when the rain was up. So I apologize for that. I don't like to make those kinds of mistakes, and I'm going to try to do better in the future. Proofread my teams better before I sign on to battle. Which I made a similar mistake last week with Glaster not candying it up. So I apologize. I'll need to improve a lot. But I hope you enjoyed the video regardless. My opponent played really, really well. Unfortunately, I didn't play up to their skill set right now, and we ended up losing the match. We ended up winning one of the games really well, which I was really happy about. I loved doing well with Registeel, but and then I tried to get too cute with Game 3. So we could have won this week, but I made too many mental errors, and it costed us. So I hope you'll stick with me. I hope you'll watch the rest of the season, because I do plan on improving and making the playoffs and doing well, and hopefully making a push late in the season. So thank you for watching. If you like the video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. I'll be posting the rest of the videos for the QBA season, and when that's over, I'll be posting some Season 9 content that I've recorded, as well as some Season 10 content, which I'm building teams for, and I'm also doing some Nuzlockes, which I've never done before, so I'll probably post those once I get done with them. So thank you very much for watching. See you later.